Hey, 8th grade, this is Miss Harkness. This video is to go with Eureka Module 4, Lesson 5. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to decode the word problem, to create the equation, and then solve the equation. So here we go. Now, I do want to point out that this is the problem set for Lesson 5. In fact, for my specific class, you will be doing this as your homework, either the odd or the even problems. Something that's going to be super useful to you is a highlighter, because that way you can identify specific parts of the problem that you want to focus on. To help me focus better, I have eliminated the other questions and I'm only going to look here at question 1. So I need to identify a couple things. I need to look for the different numbers that I'm going to be using and the different operations. But I always want to read everything twice, so take a second and read it to yourself. And then read it out loud. The measure of one angle is 13 less than 5 times the measure of another angle. The sum of the measures of the two angles is 140. Determine the measure of each angle in degrees. This question wants me to find two separate angles. So let's set up a model so that way we can kind of start to figure out what this would be. Over here on the left, I've drawn kind of two angles, and so in blue, I've got this angle here on the left, and then in yellow, I've got this angle here on the right. And then over on this half of the page, I've got the space to write in the two expressions for when I solve it. Now you'll see I've done a bunch of highlighting. I highlighted the measure of one angle, so let's call this angle A, is 13 less than, so we need to have a minus 13, so angle A is 13 less than, back that up a second, just go with the 13 less than for a moment. So measure of angle A is 13 less than what? Than 5 times the measure of another angle. We'll call that one B. So if A is 5 times the measure of another angle, we have B to begin with, and then A equals this expression. So let me move down here where I have a little more room. So we have the 5B minus 13, that is angle A, right? It's 13 less than 5 times the measure of another angle. That's angle A. This is A right here. Okay, it's angle A's expression. Let me get rid of that. Plus B. Again, this is angle A. And B is just B. From here, we're going to combine like terms and solve because we know that it equals 140. 5B is a term, negative 13 is a term, regular B is a term. So 5B plus another B is 6B minus 13 equals 140. We have to do inverse operations, right? Distribute, combine, inverse. However, for this, there was no distribution needed. We did need to combine like terms, check. And now we're going to use inverse operations. So this is the split of my equation, remember? 140 plus 13 is 153. Those cancel out. So 6 B's equal 153. From there, I'll divide both sides by 6, and I'm doing this math on my calculator. So let me type it in. We have B equals 25.5. Now, you would think we're done, but we're not. We've only solved for B. We've only solved for the yellow angle. Now, in order to find this mystery angle A, we're just going to subtract. So we got 140 is the grand total, minus 25.5. Type that in my calculator, 114.5. Let's double check. The measure of one angle is 13 less than 5 times the measure of another angle. If we do 25.5 on our calculator, it's 13 less than 5 times that, so multiply by 5. It's going to give you 127.5, and then subtract your 13. Beautiful. 114.5 is what I'm getting on my calculator.